Glad we won. Didn't play particularly well. To be perfectly honest with you, I kind of knew we were going to be. Today was going to be a grind. No excuses, excuse-free zone. We spent a lot of energy the last couple of weeks. And what goes up must come down a little bit. And I knew it on Monday. We tried to work through it, but it is what it is. We weren't sharp, didn't have a lot of energy, and you could see that. But we fought through it. I challenged them at halftime. You know, I just pretty much said, hey, if you guys want to be the kind of football team we've talked about and you've talked about, you're going to have to find a way to dig down and create some energy in the second half. And I thought they fought and tried to do that in the second half. It by no means was anything pretty today. But we found a way to win. And, again, we got a lot we can learn from. There's things we got to do better as we get ready to go into conference play. And I think our kids understand that. But I'm proud of the fact we won, you know. And, you know, we won our 16th game. A little perspective for you. We've played 16 games here, you know. And I think we've raised the bar a little bit by the way we go about our business. But at the end of the day, I mean, we found a way to win. We've won a few games in a row now, and we're getting ready to go into conference play. And what I mean by winning the 16th game, we've only played 16 games here. We're coming off 2 brutal road wins, emotional, and we found a way to win when we didn't play good. And they knew it. They didn't want to celebrate, and I made them because we always celebrate wins here because they're hard to come by. So I'm proud that we won. I think we got a lot to work on. We got to eliminate the penalties. It was better than it was, but there were still too many that will get us beat next Saturday night for sure because we're going to have to play our best game with a really good Liberty football team coming to town. So, anyways, I open the floor for questions, but I'm happy we won, and I'm also as a coach, I'm happy we got a lot to work on. From a coaching standpoint, that's always a good thing.
So I'm guessing today you're looking past the score and more just at the effort or just how your guys played.
Yeah, I mean, you know, score's great, but I'm looking at, you know, we challenged them about efforts and missed assignments and penalties and stuff early in the week. So we'll go grade the tape like we do regardless and look at the things we did well and the things that we didn't do well. You know, you look in the first half, they get behind us early, you know, for a big play. Then we turn around, we're driving the ball, having a little success. We turn around, fumble it to them, they score. You know, and those were a couple big plays. I mean, it's 13 points, they missed extra point. You know, and then we kind of fought back from there. We just didn't have a lot of zip about us today. And it is what it is. It's great when you find a way to win when you're not at your best. So, but yeah, I mean, we focus on, we don't get caught up in the score. We get caught up in doing your job, a championship effort. You know, and that's how we grade stuff.
73 carries for 369 yards. They were only allowing 80 yards on the ground per game coming in. Twofold, was it something that you saw that you thought you could take advantage of, and was it we're just going to keep running it until they can stop it?
Well, I mean, we felt like we could run the ball. I mean, early on we were moving it at will if we executed correctly. So, you know, the wind was a little bit of issue at times when you're trying to throw the ball because if y'all noticed, it would gust at times. So we were working around that a little bit, and we tried to throw it some, but we felt like we could run the ball. So that's what we kind of continued to do that. And, you know, we found a way coming out the second half to hit a big pass play, which we've been able to do here, and we got to continue to be able to do that. We had some stuff open, we just couldn't. I mean, shoot, you watch the tape. We ran a little play action. Darnell Hollins running by himself down the sideline, but we got pressure, so he has to scramble. I mean, it's just one of those days. I mean, you know, everything went clicking, but we were able to run the ball. I thought we found some things we could do, and we're able to manipulate some formations late in the game to get an advantage. So that was a positive.
Coach, talk about the ones that you missed in the pass play, but it did seem that you guys had some openings all day long. You actually hit a couple of big pass plays. Is that something that you saw in the film that you said once we get that run established, we can take them up over the top?
Well, we knew they were a man-to-man team, And so we knew that coming in. We didn't know exactly where they were going to be on that, but we knew they were man-to-man. So we knew we had some matchups that we felt like would be pretty good. And we tried to hit them on some, and we did some, but we had some other stuff open. But when it's the great game of football. You're trying to get 11 guys on the same page, playing with championship effort, snap in, snap out, no matter what look or what you're getting. And when one or two get off a little bit, it affects the whole offense or defense. And so at times that was the case today. We could have hit some bigger plays, but we didn't. So that's what happened on that. We did have some guys open several times. But we couldn't get executed.
In the first half, you were 5 of 6 on third down. What kind of, from a coaching perspective, what happens in the second half?
We were 5 of 6 in the first half. And what were we in the second half?
You finished 6 of 14.
Yeah. Probably it has to do with the down and the yardage. We were in more manageable situations. We didn't get behind the chains. We got behind the chains with penalties and negative plays at times. I'd have to go look at every, each series. But we were in more manageable situations early on. Except for the fumble in the first half, we were moving the ball. Then we pitched it to their guy, and that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to pitch it to your own guy. I think it was just more manageable situations. I think second half, at times we got in some tough situations where it wasn't as manageable. It seemed like everything. I mean, we getting a lot of fourth down. Do you go for it? A lot of third. I mean, that's just it. It's been that way since we've been here, and we're not shy about going for it. A lot of that had to do. I usually have a point in the red zone where I think we can kick a field goal, and I feel comfortable about it. And if we're inside the 40 and we're not there, what good does it do to punt? It really didn't do any good. So we go for it. Now, if we get down where we kicked a field goal going the other way, heck, we had them, 12-mile-an-hour wind behind us. That's not that. I mean, the ball was on 25-yard line, 26-yard line. So that's usually when we get down there. That's how I look at all that stuff. We have a point. We think we can kick a field goal. If we're not at that point, but we're on that side of the field, there's really no sense of punting. And it makes sense to go for it. Our kids play better that way, to be honest with you. But I feel like I'm running up and down the sideline half the time trying to get the official to call a timeout if we don't like what we got on 4th and 1 on the goal line. You know what I mean? But I think to answer your question, the third down stuff I think was just more manageable situations we were able to convert because we really didn't throw it a bunch today. It wasn't like we've been in the past.
Would you say that certainly since the defense finished a lot better than they did last week and they were very consistent through most of the game, save only the first play of the game, is that something that you really, got into them all week and certainly preparing for next week's difficult matchup?
Yeah.
That's something that is really something you've been working on a lot?
Yeah, well, after the game last week, I think especially Coach Newberry, defensive staff, and all the kids, they were on a mission to play better. And I thought we did play better today. At times we had lapses like early on. But for the most part, they really didn't. I mean, usually if we didn't fit the gap correctly, they split us one time on a zone play and then got behind us one time. But I thought we played better today, for sure. We're going to play a lot better Saturday in all three phases to have a chance to compete.
Was the absence of Sumter something that you see as a positive for your team playing without having his abilities out there, learning how to play without?
Yeah. First of all, we like to have him out there.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's very good. But we've really had a next man up mentality, and we really don't flinch about who's playing and who's not. We just go play, and sometimes it's not one guy that steps in that takes up the slack. It's kind of a village approach. There's a group of guys that goes in, and sometimes we get different stuff going that can help us win. And I think that's the great thing about what we can do. We can run the ball, and then when we need to throw the ball, we've been effective this year for the most part. So to answer your question, do I think it's good? Absolutely. Would I like to have him out there? You better believe it.
Do you evaluate the tape differently knowing you had two major pieces out and the question mark if Trey's coming back?
Nope. No, look at it the same way. And we're fortunate. We're going to have three quarterbacks hopefully healthy. I think Trey will continue to progress him next week. There's a possibility of having 3 quarterbacks healthy, and I think that's a real positive, for what we are and what we do, and all the guys have played, got some experience, and we're going to need them all down the stretch. So hopefully he'll continue to progress. We'll see how that goes next week.
3 more turnovers today. I think that's 11 of the last 3 weeks that you guys have forced. Is it just, kind of feeding off of momentum, or are there particular things that everybody's cleaned up to be able to take advantage of those situations?
It's been a big emphasis. I think a lot of times it's not necessarily something you're doing, but you have to emphasize and do drills and things that emphasize, creating fumbles, creating, interceptions. But a lot of times I go back to, if you're doing your job with championship effort, you'll run into some of that stuff. And it's been good. We're going to have to do that. We're going to have the big 0 on offense, and we're going to have to get 3 on defense. That's, for us, as we get in this conference, that's kind of how it's going to have to be. I mean, we're going to have to get some out, but in the same breath, we can't turn it over. We can't afford to do what we've gotten away with some. 2 weeks ago, we got away with it. We got away with it a little bit today. We can't do that. It's just, you play good football teams, you're not gonna be able to overcome that. So big emphasis, John. It's been really since early in the season, since we weren't getting any. You know what I mean? It's been a big emphasis.
As hot as he is right now, I'm surprised they keep throwing on Blackman's side of the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do. I think people just kind of, they do what they do. You know what I mean? I think they do a good job on offense. I mean, you go look at their stats. They move the ball. I mean, they're averaging, 30-something points a game coming into the game. I mean, they're good offensively. They do some good stuff. And number 3 is a good receiver. They do some good stuff. And I tell you what, the biggest hard part today was we couldn't ever get the quarterback down. You felt like you were, it was like he was back there drinking a cup of coffee. I mean, we got guys running around, and we just can't get back there, and he's just moving around. And we struggle getting pressure on him at times. And that makes it challenging to cover him, when he's got that much time back there. But we were able to get a little more pressure late in the game. So.
Anything else? All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it. Always appreciate you guys being here. Hope y'all know that.